the history became a love of mine because my mom, we would go to Boston and Philadelphia and colonial American places and like walk on the Freedom Trail and do all that. And she would be like, oh, like, you know, we talk about different history characters. So that came from her. And then when I would get in trouble, I think I may have said this on the podcast, when I would get in trouble, like, you know, your mom would or your dad would, you know, you go in your room for an hour. Right. I would do that too, get grounded. But she would make me say out loud the state capitals. Oh, I would have to keep reciting the state capitals, and then when we got through that, and then like I'm serious, like if that's why I know every state capital, she would make me read the encyclopedia, and I'm talking about really if I tried to like stop for a second, you would hear continue, and she would. So that was the punishment.
So you like played ball in the house, and
whatever.
You knew as soon as she was like Christopher.
Yep.
And then you were like Saratoga, Albany, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
All those right.
Albany, right? Santa Fe, right?
Saratoga. Sarasota is what I meant.
No, but it's Tallahassee.
Oh, it's Tallahassee?
Saratoga was the turning point of the American Revolutionary War. That's what you're thinking of.
Okay. Oh, I'm thinking of peanut butter. Shout out Saratoga.
Shout out Saratoga peanut butter.
By the way, though, shout out also Tom Brady, who just won the Super Bowl.
Shout out Tom.
Yeah.
Good for you, Tom. Yeah, winning the Super Bowl.
He won the Super Bowl. Bucks versus the Chiefs. That just happened.
And congrats to the Chiefs, too, for getting second place.
Name a state. I name a state. You can name you can name every capital.
You throw them out.
Can you name every pres?
I can name. No, presidents I'm not great at. I know the pres. I know them.
I know you know because the other day you dropped a James Buchanan on me.
15th president of the United States. Really the worst president in United States history. Kind of led to the Civil War. Was a openly gay man. If you check out our YouTube, Chrissy Comedy YouTube.
He was openly gay as he presided over the office of the presidency of the United States.
Never had President James Buchanan, 15th president. Never had a wife or first lady. He had
but the United States of America, the people at that time knew that he was openly gay that way.
At that time,
well, they didn't elect him. I can't imagine they elected an openly gay man back then.
He wasn't openly gay because the thing is, but he was known. I mean, Andrew Jackson. You know Andrew Jackson,
sure.
Andrew Jackson. Bill. He used to call him Miss Nancy. That was like he would call him to his face, Miss Nancy, and they'd be like, ha ha ha, yes. And he had an Alabama senator. I forgot the Alabama senator's name was his boyfriend. Like he would call him Andrew Jackson would call his friend, the Alabama senator, Mrs. B, like Mrs. Buchanan.
Really?
Because at that time in the 1800s, that's why history is cyclical, and that's why sometimes when you see what's going on, you're like, wait, but if you look back in history, James Buchanan, and at that time in history when James Buchanan was elected president, you being whatever your sexual preferences were, gay, straight, whatever, didn't disqualify you at all from public office. They were like, we don't care about that at all.
Wow.
So you would never even think to ask someone that. It'd be like, there's no point in that. It'd be like, oh, what kind of underwear do you wear? Nobody cares. It's only later. It's only now is it like, oh, what's your sexual preference? So we think that at times you're being progressive by being like this, and this. But if you look back in history, certain things, not everything, of course, certain things were actually regressing where you're like, oh, no. They never cared about homosexuality in a public office back then. That wouldn't even be a thing they would think of dreaming of. It's only now do we make it a stink. So it's strange. But yeah, President James Buchanan, reason why worst president is because he kind of led to like Abraham Lincoln, then of course 16th president. He has to take over James Buchanan's mess because he left the country in disarray with the Union and Confederacy. He was the one that kind of didn't care at all. James Buchanan really didn't care about, preserving the Union at all. He was like, you want to have slaves? Have slaves. He was not fighting for anything. It was Lincoln that had to be like, come on, guys, we got to and then, the war.
How do you remember all this stuff?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because this is just a small little nugget.
Nugget.
All the stuff that you retain.
Yeah, but then, like you said, I don't know how to say Tupperware.
Right. You're like an idiot savant. I've been called that.
Yeah.
Because I have crazy knowledge in certain areas and none in others.
Yeah, same with me, dude.
So you know all these capitals, which a lot of people know that.
Yeah, there's only 50 of them.
Yeah.
So you can memorize 50 things.
Sure, that's
But the bones in the body.
I'm not sure I can. Just throw one state at me.
Vermont. Take a guess.
I know that when you say it, I'm going to know it right away. Vermont.
Man.
Nothing's coming to mind.
Montpelier.
No, I would have lost my life on that.
You would
I would have lost my life.
A lot of people will guess
Montpelier.
Montpelier.
I'll give you another one.
Smallest Capitol
building.
building.
Ring a bell.
Yep.
Montpelier. I'd never heard of it.
Smallest Capitol building in the country.
Montpelier?
Montpelier State Capitol. From us.
Right, because this isn't this. We go on the road.
Right.
When we're in different states, he's like, would you mind if we visit the Capitol building? And we take photos of him in front of the Capitol buildings.
I got 28.
28 so far.
I got 28 so far.
I never heard of
Montpelier.
Montpelier.
Montpelier. It's because
Montpelier.
that part of the Northeast, the Vermont, it's very close to Canada.
Teddy Bear Company.
Used to be Teddy Bear Company.
Yeah.
Used to be part of France. That was the French kind of used to own that part. That used to be at some point was
the spectrum of which things about geography and history versus the gaping hole in which I don't.
Right.
That's somewhere we are miles apart with. I would be if you named a state, you'd be, and I told you everything I know about that state, you would be it would be shock and awe about how much I don't know.
Right.
I tell you, emotional intelligence is what I have.
You have emotional intelligence.
I was book smart, but only because I memorized shit.
Memorize stuff. See, there's certain things that I memorize, but I like to try to, if I can learn it and understand it, I'd rather do that if it takes a little bit longer. But on the same hand, listen, I know Montpelier, I know some facts about geography, but I've never had bologna. So you've lived a fuller life.
Yeah, you got to try bologna at least once.
Don't be a fake, don't be a flake.